During the second week of May 2022, the ESDA Social Design Days took place for the first time at the Escuela Superior de Diseño de Aragón. These days, the newly released incorporation into the International DESIS Network, laboratories located in design schools where intervention and research in design for social innovation is practiced, founded by Ezio Mancini. Among the scheduled events, there was a sample in which they were presented with the 7 most important projects developed at the ESDA in social design and for social innovation. For this, the ESDA has had 3 exceptional guest teachers. Teresa Franqueira, International Coordinator of DESIS from the University of Aveiro in Portugal, Adam Thorpe, of the Office of Design Against Crime at Central St. Martin's, University of Art London, and Francesco Mazzarella, from the Fashion Centre Sustainable of the London College of Fashion, also belonging to the Wall. After presenting the collaborative community map of the latest project, Building Bridges ESDA, a visit was made to some of the places in this neighborhood whose neighbors the ESDA tries to bring design for social innovation closer to. We also had 3 very interesting conferences by the 3 invited professors, a workshop and a roundtable, in which the conclusions of what we have reflected on learning these days were collected.
Thank you for the invitation. Buenas tardes. My talk is about designing for the planet and are we doing enough? It has 60 labs. ESDA is the newest one, the newest member, so I think we deserve an applause. And so DESIS Labs, all the projects that are developed within the DESIS Labs are developed by the students, as you are, and the professors that want to make a social change in their own schools. In Germany, so it was very close. The climate change is not anymore something that are far away. These are the fires in California. So 2021 was a severe year for this climate change. We know that design is important for products, but it was too focus on strategies to reduce the footprint or to have an assessment in the life cycle of products. And so I used to say to my students that we are like detectives. We are always searching and observing what surrounds us. If we are not designing for this generation, then I don't think we are designing for future ones. That's it.
So the title of my talk is Fashioning Social Change Through Design Activism. The mainstream fashion system is proving unsustainable because of the overproduction of fast-changing, low-quality and cheap products that are consumed and disposed of at a fast pace due to planned obsolescence. And this is building momentum for an increasing number of designers to play an activist role. We are much more focused on envisioning and really interested in envisioning future scenarios. But I believe that we also need to reacquire a sense of being here and now. Yes, so in my work, I'm trying to investigate the designerly ways of knowing, thinking and acting of fashion activists in order to challenge the status quo and activate positive social change. Not everybody defined themselves as activists, but they all expressed an ambition to play a more activist role. That meant creating a counter-narrative towards sustainability. Whilst my initial ambition was to enable change in others, I also admit that throughout this project I also undertook a process of change in myself. Fashion activism has the power to address social justice and shape better lives. And that's it. Thank you. And my email if you want to get in touch.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay if I talk from here? Yep. My intention today is to share with you some of the projects that we're working on over in London. I think there's a lot of resonance between the work you're doing and the approaches you're taking and the work that we're delivering in London. You're probably familiar with this pretty basic design process, this one here. We apply something similar to this, but obviously this is very linear and we iterate always round and around the discover, define, discover, define. We still deal with product design and these other areas, but we spend a lot of time now working with people that find themselves in prison. Public Collaboration Lab frames its working with citizens, community groups, civil servants, and it's a process of learning together by doing together. We try to involve people at every stage, as our colleagues from the MAP group were talking about this morning. One of the synergies that we found between local government and design education is public consultation and engagement. All of the projects that we do, they have a relationship one to the next, and this is a process that we call infrastructuring that we can talk about another time. Thank you very much for being so generous with your time.
Muchas gracias por vuestro tiempo.
Cheers. With a message board and some tools and some activities in a public space during COVID to engage. And we were told, first of all, some of the people we were working with in the government said you can't put it there. You need a permit for that, especially during COVID. So we filled out all the forms and we did it as an exercise within the class.
For many years, been working with indigenous communities in Colombia and Mexico, and she wrote a paper about the things we shouldn't do when we are working with the community. And the first one is to use the word help. We are not going to help anyone.
We have the ethical responsibility to make them aware, as Adam was saying, that the students come and go, but we are there and the residents are there. So we need to make sure that they don't feel used and abused by all these students coming, doing interventions and then leaving.